Hey guys, now this is a bit of a different intro than usual as this is future Harry talking. I just want to update you guys on a few little things related to the channel. Now for those of you unaware, I've recently begun streaming on Twitch, which I'm very excited for as this is something I've wanted to do from the very beginning. It has always been a plan of mine, so I'm glad that we're finally there. Now, schedule wise, I'll be streaming on Thursdays and Saturdays at about 10 PM UK time, so be sure to come over, follow the channel, have a chat about whatever you want. You will be more than welcome. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you guys about was my Discord server, which again I'm very excited for because it will allow total integration of every part of my channel. It will allow integration of Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, just every single thing related to me and the channel will be in one place, and I'm very excited to have that just to talk to you guys and to build a little community because that is something that I've always wanted out of all of this. Now I've left a link to both of those in the description, so be sure to follow them if you are interested. And yes, I believe I've taken up enough of your time, so without further ado, let's jump back into the reaction. Oh my god, Caroline, my darling.
And then your friend Elena stopped by. She did?
And murdered you, because that was not Elena.
What is that smell? Back to bed.
Heightened senses. Oh no. Hopefully she goes for the bag and not the person. Oh my god, she's a vampire. I can't actually take this. God, it's like it's got a straw. Okay, for starters, that is not blood. Just by the consistency in the straw bit. This is the problem. Everyone's so different. She's gonna hate herself. Oh my god. I was gonna say, this is the problem with vampires. Everyone's, like we saw with Vicky with the drug problem, everyone's got such different personalities, and Caroline is a very caring and kind person. And I think the idea of feeding on humans is going to absolutely fuck with her head. I don't know how she's going to be able to handle this mentally. And also mentally, she's going to remember all the stuff that Damon did to her now. It's all going to come flying back. Jesus.
And Catherine looked just like him. It was freakish.
Yeah.
She is my ancestor.
Do they ever explain it further, or is it just that she's her ancestor? Because...
Hey, do you...
Yeah, I set up the goldfish toss, all 300 goldfish. It's gonna be epic.
He's right. How do you come back from something like that?
He's just been through a little bit of an ordeal.
Or death?
What do we do about Damon?
No D-word either.
D-word, okay?
For goodness sake, Stefan.
Unfortunately, Catherine showing up has him in a little bit of an odd place, a little off kilter, kind of dangerous.
I mean, the thing is, they're talking about this... I get why they're talking about it, and they're right to talk about it, because an unhinged Damon is dangerous. However, I wish they would care a little bit more in the regard of his mental well-being for himself. Because he was obviously growing a lot, and I know he essentially doesn't deserve it just because of how he is. But considering Stefan has been wanting his brother to change for so long, and to become more caring and all that, to see this fuck with his head so much, I would hope that Stefan was there for him more than he's being. I don't blame Stefan for not being there for him, don't get me wrong, like, Stefan has every right not to talk to him and all that. But, just, I would hope that he would be there for him just to get him out of it. Because I have really enjoyed the Damon that we've come to know. Much better than early season 1 Damon. So, yeah, guess we'll have to see what Damon is up to.
With Richard gone, I'm going to need someone to spearhead the council. I'd like that person to be you.
They've got a fucking vampire as the head of the anti-vampire council.
So all this anger and aggression you're talking about, do you have episodes? Is there a pattern? Like, once a
Full
month,
moon?
late night? All I know is I lose myself. For that time, I become something else. And I hate it.
More tea?
Does Damon know, like, what that is? Oh, fuck. Does she know what's happening?
Your mom said you're not eating.
Is he going to open the curtains or something?
Because you're sitting in the dark.
No!
What the hell?
Oh my god.
I'll just come back later, okay?
That's probably best for your own safety, Matt. Oh, Caroline, babes. Does she know? Like, this is my question. Does she actually know what's happening to her? Or is she just confused?
I think the Lockwoods have a family secret. Because the Gilbert device affected them, but Rebane didn't. So they're not vampires or something else.
We haven't seen the last of Catherine. You do know that, right?
Obviously. What?
She came back to profess her undying eternal love for you. So I'm gonna let you deal with her.
Even if part of that may be true, I refuse to believe that that is the only reason she's here. It's the vein, isn't it? The necklace? Yep. No wearing that anymore, love. Yeah, careful no one sees you, Caroline, 'cause to a human that is fucking creepy. Fangs. Oh my god.
What's wrong?
No.
You can't tell anyone.
Can't tell anyone.
You'll do what I say.
I'll do what you say.
Is she gonna feed on her?
Because I'm starving.
Oh my god. I need a moment to process what I just saw. That is such a different Caroline than we've come to know. She is such like a dark aura around her now. This is so cool.
Wow. What do you need, beautiful?
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Oh.
Mommy.
The problem is your lips aren't on mine. Whenever I see a bookshelf just sat there, I'm always thinking, is there a secret door?
What are you doing? Huh? No, just killing time, waiting for you.
No, you're not. You're looking for something.
You know where I can find any family artifact stuff? The heirlooms?
What do you want?
What's it look like? It's a moonstone. It's about the size of a hockey puck.
So a moonstone. Obviously, he was questioning Tyler, is there any particular day at night? Because I think it has to do with the full moon. So a moonstone, does that negate the effects that the moon has on them? It keeps them calm? Maybe that's why Tyler's dad was fine all the time? But then Tyler's in the same household, so why would Tyler not be fine? Maybe because Tyler wasn't in its general vicinity when it happened? That is true, actually, because when we saw Tyler around, it was always like at the school or when he was in the car and all that. So, does make sense.
Jeremy. So good to see you.
Damon, go away. You literally murdered the boy.
So please tell me that that is not a threat. Well, maybe it is. This is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna walk around like we're invincible.
Yeah. And like, Catherine just cut off his fingers for John, I mean. So like...
Okay, now what's the story?
My husband likes to get kinky.
Yes.
Caroline.
If you could just forget that I bit you, that would be great because I'm going to.
Forget what?
I don't know how that works, but it's brilliant.
Interesting. I know I keep pausing, but like there's a lot to process. So, she's being very nonchalant about it all. She is not really... I don't think she's taken the time to process what this means. And if not, maybe she's turned off the emotions? But no, because she's still feeling sorry for biting the woman. It's just very interesting how I would have expected Caroline to be a bit more scared of what she is, which we did see earlier. But it seems as though she's pushed it to the side and isn't thinking about it. Because like she said, I've already forgotten. So, but also going to the carnival, is someone going to see? Is Elena going to find out? Bonnie going to find out?
Who wants to go next? Hey, Stefan wants to go.
Now you'll be able to actually tell if it's super strength or not. Yeah, I think Stefan was actually
You
trying.
didn't put in any effort at all.
Yeah, actually, I did.
Come with me.
Boom. Now Stefan finally believes him.
What? What do you have to do? I need you to pick a fight with someone. A kid named Tyler Lockwood. I won't back down.
Oh, Damon, you might have just killed this man. Like, if you're telling him not to back down no matter what he does. Oh, no. And she knows.
Oh, hey, Blondie.
Oh, Damon. Damon. Damon.
I remember.
Think, Damon, why does she remember?
I remember how you manipulated me.
Think, Damon,
You
why does she
pushed me
remember?
around, abused me.
Damon,
You
think
can't
why.
remember. It's impossible.
Then think why.
Unless you were becoming
Yep. There you go.
I have a message from Catherine.
Oh,
She said, game on.
Wait.
yeah. Oh my god.
You suck.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
I need you to come with me.
Right now,
Whatever
Elena.
it is, I'm not interested.
Elena.
Yeah, I need you to come with me right now, Elena.
Is he just gonna flat out tell her?
Watch where you're going.
You got a problem?
Yeah, you walked right into me.
Here we go. Is it gonna set off the uncle's rage? Because the uncle normally has it under control. Yeah, what is that?
Your eyes.
What are you? Oh.
They must have already been broken.
Yeah, sure. No.
How did this happen?
Because Catherine is a manipulative, nasty little slut.
Oh.
All of my compulsion from the past started wearing off the minute she was in transition.
We have to find her.
Yep, and kill her.
No. Damon?
You know I'm right.
No, you're not. You leave Caroline alone.
We're not gonna kill her.
It's the only way.
It's not, Damon. Don't piss me off. Oh god, is she gonna feed on someone? Oh, blood. Oh no.
Hey, is everything okay?
I'm so sorry.
Oh. Oh my god. My god. Damon, I swear to fucking god, if you kill her. Oh.
Damon's right. Not about what we should do, but about what's gonna happen. Catherine all of a sudden Caroline's death sentence.
Yeah. I do agree that Catherine did, like, she turned the right person in a sense, because.
She's doing this to me, isn't she?
Actually, she's doing it to me.
Through you.
What is it? Do you hear her?
Blood. I can smell blood.
Oh god. She drained him dry. Damon. 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 Damon.
He's dead.
Oh, Caroline.
I killed him.
Oh, my darling.
What's wrong with me?
Hey.
Oh. Damon, fuck off. Damon. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you.
Damon,
oh my
she's
god.
my friend.
Don't you dare. Do it for Elena.
Whatever happens, it's on you.
Well done. Well done, guys. Phew. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh, Bonnie. Oh, no. Oh, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
And it's the guy.
Caroline, look at me. Caroline, look at me.
Caroline, come on.
No matter how good it feels to give yourself over to it, you fight it off. You bury it.
Well done, Stefan. Well done.
Why did Catherine do this to me?
Because she's a manipulative bitch.
I promise you, I will not let anything happen to you.
Aww.
Sucks to be you, buddy.
She gonna... Oh, Bonnie. What are you doing?
I told you what would happen if anyone else got
She's
hurt.
gonna burn him.
Bonnie, it wasn't his fault.
Bonnie, the reason she took the blood was because you fucking told her to. You literally said, do it. Bonnie was the main instigator of giving the blood to Caroline. What the fuck? If anything, Bonnie, I hate to say it, my darling, if anything, it's your fault. You know? Like, Jesus Christ.
Bonnie, stop it.
Bonnie, I swear to God.
Hey! Why did you stop me?
Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. So he knows. Boom. What does it do?
What the hell are you doing here?
You don't lock your front door.
He's holding a steak.
My father hated vampires. My uncle too. I figured maybe I should too. I mean, stand for something.
That's what I was afraid of, that he would.
Killing you. What's that gonna do?
Well done, Jeremy.
My father hated vampires too. Same reason your dad did. Only it was 1864. People knew how to whittle.
It's an interesting dynamic, thinking of Damon. Is that Matt?
What are you doing here?
Matt. Oh no, Matt. You don't understand.
I'm pretty sure that I'm in love with you.
Oh, that's
And now
amazing, Matt,
feel the
but...
same way.
Oh no. Caroline, careful your emotions. Hell yeah, well done. Well done. Oh, I'm so proud of her. So proud of her.
Hi, what time is it?
Come with me.
Oh, for God's sake, he's going to take her on the thingy.
We have to take these moments, Elena. I came back to this town to start a life with you. We can't forget to live it.
Exactly. You can't let all of these things that happen ruin the two of you.
Stefan, how are we gonna get to the top?
I guess you'll just have to hold on tight.
I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
It's not gonna get any easier, is it?
No. But it will happen no matter what, Elena. So you two being together is the good part of it all. You know what I mean?
It's not.
So, damn. Fuck me, that was such a good episode. Jesus. Right, as per usual, we are going to go scene by scene. So, at the start, we had Caroline wake up in the hospital, and the nurse was talking to her, and the nurse revealed that it's the middle of the night, and Caroline was confused. And I think it's because she felt like so awake and so full of energy that she was confused as to how it could be the middle of the night. And then we had her immediately be drawn to the blood. And it was interesting because they say it is a compulsion to go to the blood. It's like your main drive. But you would think that someone would have a bit of resistance at the start, but Caroline went straight for it. She could not resist. So I wonder if that's going to be playing into her character as a vampire a bit more. Maybe she really struggles to resist. I'll talk about it later on, obviously, when she was very good at it. We then moved on to a scene with Damon and the new mayor until the new elections. And it was very interesting because I just find it so funny that they've put a fucking vampire as head of the anti-vampire council. Like, is no one doing any more fact-checking? Because, listen, I get it. I get that he did a very good cover-up. But there are ways to figure shit out. There are ways to figure shit out, you know? And I think their whole reasoning, I don't think that they've fully thought about the fact that vampires might not be together. The way they think about it is if vampires are this, like, culture of people who all work together and kill everyone, when in reality, we know that's not true. So if they actually thought about it and they thought about Damon maybe being a creature of survival and covering his tracks and the fact that he arrived in the town the same time it all started, they don't really have any knowledge of him. Like, why would they not know that this is a child of the Salvatore family? You know, like, you'd think that they would know. So I do find it very interesting how they're not really looking into it. Now, in that same scene, we had Tyler and his uncle talking, and it was very interesting because it's really giving me the idea of werewolves because they keep getting mentioned and there keeps being hints. Because Tyler's uncle said, do you ever feel it happening at certain times? Like, does it always happen at a certain time, a certain day in the month, i.e. like a full moon? And Tyler seemed a bit confused, but I don't think Tyler's truly thought it through as to when it's been happening. And later on as well, when they were doing the arm wrestling scene, Damon was saying, he was joking around about werewolves and some other supernatural being real. And the fact that werewolves was one of the things mentioned, it's just becoming so abundantly clear that that's what they're going for. I don't know if it's a red herring or not, but that seems to be what they're going for. Because when you look at the fight, when Tyler was fighting that guy that Damon compelled, he started to get really angry and his uncle intervened. But the moves that his uncle was using was wolf-like. It was very animal. The way that he jumped over the car with all fours. It didn't seem very human, obviously, because we know that they're supernatural of some kind. And he had certain eyes. So maybe werewolves in this show don't go through a full transformation as others. They don't turn into a wolf or something like that. Maybe the eyes is the key feature of them, and the rest is just modifications, like they're really fast, they're really strong, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm hoping to get a lot more history on that and to find out the origin of all that, why his family is like it. And is it a curse? Is it actually like literally a witch's curse on their family, or is it another supernatural being? Because he did mention it being a curse before. Now we then moved on to the scene with Matt and Caroline where he opened the blinds. I think at that point, Caroline had kind of set in Caroline's mind what she was becoming. Because like she said, the bits of her past with Damon were coming in piece by piece. And when she was putting her hand in the sunlight and it was burning, it's like she kind of knew what it was. It's like she had an inkling and she was just like, this can't be true. Because when she kept putting her hand in, it was like, ugh, like, no, like, this can't be real. But I think she did know what she was becoming. And then in the scene that we next saw Caroline, she got the nurse and compelled her, because obviously she had a knowledge of it from Damon. So she compelled the nurse and she fed on her. And it was very interesting to see Caroline's take on being a vampire, because as I've said before, we all know vampires are all different. Like we saw with Vicky, she had addiction problems as a human, so when she became a vampire, Jesus Christ. So with Caroline, I was very shocked to see how nonchalant she was about everything. Because I think the problem is she gave in to the desire. She gave in to the compulsion that the blood gives them. That they want to feed. They need to feed. So then the next scene, we had Bonnie meet the guy that eventually dies. And oh my god, this guy. He arrives at the carnival for work. He sees Bonnie. They have a bit of an interaction. It's like, oh, nice. Then he gets compelled by Damon to go and fight someone and get beaten up for no reason. And then, as he's clearing the blood away from his nose, he is drank from and murdered by Caroline. Like, Jesus Christ, give the guy a break. Then we moved on to Tyler's uncle looking for the moonstone. Now, I want to find out what this moonstone is, because obviously Tyler has it now. He went and found it. What does it do? It's called a moonstone, so there's something to do with the moon, and as Tyler's uncle was implying, the moon has an impact on their anger issues, and the night maybe. So what does the moonstone do? If you think of it like a channeling thing, you could have like the moonlight goes into the stone rather than him, and it doesn't anger him. Or maybe it just keeps the powers at bay. But why would he want it? Because he doesn't want to feel angry anymore? Maybe it keeps their anger at bay. Because we never saw Tyler's dad go through anything. The only time we ever saw Tyler's dad be a bit like that was when he was telling Tyler to fight Jeremy. And you could tell he himself was getting a little riled up by it all. So that's the only time we ever saw, but it did seem off. So maybe that is what's happening. So the next scene, we had Damon approach Jeremy, which was a fucking annoying move to begin with, because Damon just doesn't understand what he's done to Jeremy. Killing that boy, and then him coming back, especially with Elena as well. Like Bonnie said earlier about him killing your brother. Damon just doesn't realize the damage that the things he does, you know? And I just wish he would have more of an understanding of people. And I know he's going through a hard time right now, and I'm sure he'll get there eventually. It's just aggravating to see at the moment, you know? But that did open the doors for the scene later on between Jeremy and Damon, where we kind of got Big Brother vibes from Damon towards Jeremy, which is interesting because Stefan has tried with Jeremy. He's tried to be a good force for him, and I think Jeremy has responded well to it. Jeremy seems to like Stefan. But to have Elena's other potential lover, if you know what I mean, be the Big Brother style vibe towards Jeremy, it's a bit weird, you know? It's a bit weird. You'd think that her boyfriend would be the one that would be there for Jeremy more. But, It makes everything's just so complicated. That love triangle between Elena, Stefan, and Damon is so fucking complicated. So we then moved on to the scene where Caroline was compelling the nurse not to remember anything. And it was very interesting because Caroline was very nonchalant and she almost was trying not to remember what she did herself. It's like she was just pushing it to the side and trying to forget all of it happened, but it did happen. And I think she needs to accept that it happened, because you're not going to get anywhere if you're just going to pretend all the time, because you're just going to become a danger. She could have just easily fed on Matt. Luckily with the talk she had with Stefan, but we'll get there later. So from there, we then moved on to the scene where she actually confronted Damon, which was a beautiful scene, because I've been wanting that for so long. Because what he did to her and the way that he treated her was absolutely awful. So for her to actually be not matched because he's older, but to be a lot more matched strength-wise, and the way she held herself was just so powerful. And when she pushed him to the ground, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love that they gave her that moment of power and strength where she just essentially said, fuck you for what you did to me. It was a very powerful scene. I did like it. So from there, we had the scene where she actually met the guy that she would eventually murder. And it's so heartbreaking to see Caroline go through this, because you've got someone, like I was saying earlier, she's so kind, so loving, such a nice person, Caroline, to then also have this now new side to her that just wants blood and has a compulsion to get it. it's so hard to see her go through that because she was so apologetic. She was so sorry for all the stuff that she was doing, but she couldn't not do it. It was inevitable. She had the urge. So it's just upsetting to see her have to go through that. But luckily, Stefan came along, took her to the bathroom, and they had a good chat. And he was very good in that scene. I really appreciated how he spoke to her and how he supported her. Because he kind of just sat in front of him and went, look, listen, I'm telling you, you can do this. I've done it, you can do it, and I can teach you how. And I think that is a very important thing. And I really hope that Caroline listens to Stefan and they actually work through it together, because he can really help her. And I think she's definitely a good person to get on Stefan's diet, because Stefan's whole basis of drinking animals is because he just feels awful drinking humans, which Caroline does as well. So she's definitely a good person to attempt it with. Damon, I think with how much he doesn't care, you're never going to get him to do it. But who knows? Potentially in the future, as he starts to allow his emotions in, he might do it as well. So then we had a scene where this is one of the few times I've ever actually been annoyed and angry at Bonnie, because I've loved Bonnie all the way through. These past few episodes have been a bit iffy, simply because she's been very dark and I haven't been happy for her. But this was another level. This was ridiculous. Bonnie was the reason that they gave the blood to Caroline. Bonnie was the main advocate. She was like, do it, do it, do it. This is Caroline. We have to save her. And also, Damon did not give the blood to her and then kill her. Someone else killed her. So for Bonnie to take this action and be so fucking angry with Damon is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've been with you, Bonnie. I've been with you from the beginning. I've felt bad for you, all of that. But no, that is wrong. That is wrong what she did that night. Because if Elena didn't stop her, she would have just killed Damon for no reason. Obviously, he's done things. I say no reason. Obviously, he's murdered people and all that shit. But for the reasoning that she had, it was not supported by the evidence. And it was just, ugh. It was annoying to see that Bonnie would allow herself to get like that, you know? We then had a really lovely scene where we actually saw that Caroline can control it. And that is rare. For a newborn vampire to have so much control, it truly does show how much she cares about people. Because I think that that is the main driving force for her to have done it. Because for her to be cuddling Matt and be so close to biting him, for her to have the power and the control to say, no, I'm not going to do it, that is amazing considering she's just become a vampire. It was just so beautiful to see because I truly did not expect it. Because like Stefan said, it takes years to master it. It takes years and you're never truly mastering it. You work every day to keep it at bay. So for her to be able to do that so early is amazing. And I'm starting to love Caroline even more, honestly. This episode has just given me such a love for her and her character. Then obviously we had the sweet scene between Stefan and Elena. And what they were talking about, I really do agree with. Because all of this stuff is gonna happen. It's gonna happen no matter what you do. Stuff's gonna happen with vampires. People are gonna get turned. People are gonna die. It's just the way it is now. Them two being together is the only good thing that they get out of it. So they should never let anything come between them, because they're doing all of this because they can be together, and their love for each other is probably the only thing keeping them going. So I do really like that they do take a moment out. Even though all of this has happened, they still took that moment out and had a moment together, which was really nice to see. So yes, I think that covers everything. So on to question time. So first up, why do you think Jeremy, after all Damon has done to him, is seeking to connect to him and not with Stefan? Oh, I didn't actually think of that, to be honest. I mentioned it, but I didn't think why. Why Damon over Stefan? Honestly, to me, I think it is because Damon is a very emotional person. Even though he doesn't allow himself to feel stuff, he's a very deep feeling person. And I think Jeremy can sense that. And Damon's been through a lot of the same struggles. He's lost loved ones. He's dealt with betrayal. It's just been a whole... And like we saw with him saying that his dad hated vampires as well, it's a kind of connection between the two. And I think their spirits are very similar, even though they follow different paths in life. So I definitely think that's why. In terms of why he doesn't go to Stefan, honestly, when they were at the locker and Stefan was talking to Jeremy and he was telling him all this stuff, it felt off. It felt like a kind of relationship that's forced because he's his sister's boyfriend, rather than Damon just feels like someone that Jeremy would go to anyway, no matter what the connection was. They just seem very similar. So I definitely think that's why. Now, next up, what do you think of Bonnie at this point? I don't know. I really did like Bonnie up until this point, but she's starting to annoy me. And I don't mean annoy because she's been through so much. She's been through so much. So annoy's the wrong word. but I'm definitely getting frustrated at how she's putting blame on everyone else and never accepting blame herself. Because she does have a certain role to play in a lot of this. So for her to just apply the blame to everyone and not accept that part of these things are her fault, it's starting to frustrate me a little bit. Right, next up, how do you think Caroline will cope with being a vampire in the long run? I kind of talked about this. I feel like she's going to definitely try the Stefan diet and try her hardest because she's a very loving, very caring, kind person. So to have someone like that suddenly become a monster, it must really fuck with her head and really just make her feel awful about herself. The same way Stefan feels awful about himself. I think they have a real connection with each other, just based on their shared love for humanity. So I definitely think she's going to be struggling at first, but I hope that Stefan will be able to help her through it and she'll be able to keep her relationships, because I think that's a really big thing for her. She wants to keep her relationship with Matt. She obviously loves her mum, so she wants to be around her, and they're both human. So she needs to really try hard. And also, dealing with the fact that her mother murders people of Caroline's now species, I think that's going to play a big toll on her. And I wonder if her mother's going to include her in the council at some point. I wonder if her mother's going to like try and open up to her and she's like, yeah. Because obviously she is a vampire. So I hope that she doesn't have to go through a lot. But knowing this show, I feel like she's going to be dealing with a lot. You know? Right, next up, do you have any theories as to what the Moonstone could be for? Well, the vibe I'm getting from it all is that the Moonstone might suppress their anger, because the uncle was really looking for it, and although the uncle looks like he's got everything under control, he's got it under control probably the same way that Stefan does, where it's a fight every day. So maybe the Moonstone, like I was saying, maybe it absorbs the moonlight, and the moonlight is the like energy that gives them the feelings that they get. You know, so maybe it absorbs it so it doesn't affect them. I don't know. I could just be bullshitting, but that's the vibe that I'm getting, that it suppresses their anger. Because what else could it be for? Unless he has malicious intent, but I don't think he does. It just seems like he seems... His reasonings for getting the Moonstone seem selfish. Maybe it takes away the curse, like, fully. But then why would he have not used it on his own son if he had the Moonstone? Maybe need a witch? I don't know. Right, next up. How do you feel about Tyler's journey so far into realizing what he is? He's definitely, because of the nature of what he is, he gets very angry at things. You do feel bad for him because he gets frustrated and he gets antagonized by the little things, but it's not his fault. However, this whole time, he's just been such a dickhead. And I think he's been such a dickhead because he hasn't known what to do with his feelings. He's been feeling all this anger and all these feelings and probably feeling like a terrible person for it, that he's just acting out on everyone. But... you do feel for him, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Tyler and how his journey has been, because he's just been a dickhead. And we're starting to see a change in him, definitely. We're starting to see a different kind of Tyler, so I hope that he changes for the better, but we will have to see, because so far I've not been too happy with the boy. Right, lastly, how do you feel about where Bonnie and Jeremy are now in their mentality? I think they're both in a very similar place. They're both very depressed about what's happened to them. Obviously, Bonnie's grandmother and now Caroline, her best friend, all to do with vampires and how vampires have ruined her life. And Jeremy has got a similar feeling, but in a different way. Because vampires have ruined Bonnie's life by taking things away, but vampires have ruined Jeremy's life by being taken away from him. Like, Bonnie's grandmother is dead because of vampires. Jeremy's girlfriends are both dead because they were vampires and were killed. So it's very interesting how they're going through different things, but also very similar emotional states. They're both very depressed. That is the main thing that you can say. They're both very depressed right now. They're going through a lot. Jeremy's obviously struggling with who he is and what his goals in life are and who he's going to be. And Bonnie is... she's probably going through a similar thing, but Bonnie's also dealing with the idea that her whole world has crumbled around her. And everything that she is around is negative, in that she doesn't want to be around vampires because they killed her grandmother, essentially. But then her best friend's boyfriend's a vampire. Her other best friend is a vampire. She can't get away from the very things that she hates. They're literally in her life. So honestly, I don't know how Bonnie's going to react for the rest of the season. I don't know if she's going to distance herself from Caroline. I don't know if she's going to change and become more happier. I don't know if she's going to go to Elena more than Caroline. It's going to cause some issues. It's hard to say. I hope that Bonnie is good with Caroline, Hope she's nice to her and understanding, but you never know because she's obviously going through a lot surrounding it. And Jeremy, I hope he gets a lot closer to Damon, and I hope we see a lot of bonding between the two because I think that could be a really good relationship. I haven't really thought about it before, but them two together, letting their emotions out with each other, because they both seem to be very bad at expressing themselves. They don't seem to be very open with a lot of people, so if they can be open with each other, I think that'll be a huge boost for them both. But yeah, anyway, that was another incredible episode of The Vampire Diaries. I can't wait to see where they take Caroline's journey next time. And yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon where you'll be able to find the early and uncut reactions to The Vampire Diaries and all the other shows that I do. At the moment, I think, God, at the moment I'm like 10 ahead, but it might have slowed down a bit by now, but you can always go over there and check. And yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.